Hello, I've just woken up. Sorry, my music's loud. And I've got to tell you about a dream I've just woken up from, in which I was living in a van, but my van was parked boat. So it was parked, I suppose it was parked on water, but with its wheels on land. But its sort of tummy was in water. And I went for a walk with someone, and who I think is weirdly a husband of a friend of mine and I don't really like him. I was going for a walk with him. Anyway, I was coming back from the walk, and I asked him to go in and move the van, I think, or something, I don't know. And I handed him the keys, and our hands got stuck together. I'm just replaying it in my head while I tell you now. It was the weirdest thing, because it was like the keys had tied our hands together. Anyway, we managed to get there. He was annoyed about that, and I was like, oh, it's just because I said some scientific thing that isn't a thing, but in the dream it was. It's just because of something of friction of something. Anyway, so he managed to get my keys from me, reversed my van. Anyway, I was back in the van later, and somebody said to me, they weren't in the van with me, but their voice was. They said, "Oh, your van is capturing wildlife from the pond." And I was like, "Oh no!" So I pulled up the carpet, and they were like, "It was just loads of creatures," because the bottom of the van was clear. So there was one massive fish. So I was like, "Oh no!" There was loads of other things as well. So I got somebody, I don't know who, to help me pull like a drawer from underneath the van, so that it would pull pull the bottom of the van along, so that there would be a gap which the fish could then swim out into, so he'd be in the pond again. So I managed to get him out, but then I was lying on my bed, and I suddenly became aware that my van itself, not just underneath, was teeming with wildlife. And this is a bit there's two bits, but this is the bit I really want. None of that was important that I necessarily wanted to tell you, but it just gives the background. There was this creature hopping around my van. Now, size-wise, probably about the size of a large hamster, but it was a rhinoceros. And in my head, because my head was like the internet, it knew exactly what this thing was. in dream reality, I was like, oh man, it's something or the other. There is small. They're really small, but they're as feisty and strong as rhinoceroses. So it was really cute. It was the cutest thing, because it was really chunky and solid. Anyway, it was running around on top of my chest of drawers, and I was like, oh, what am I going to do? I don't really want it living in my van with me. What if it, like, I don't know, what if it runs across, I don't know, runs across me in my sleep is a thing that I don't like. So I was trying to waft it away with paper, like A4 paper, but it just wanted to have a fight with the paper. It was like getting into fight mode, and then putting its horn towards the paper and stamping its feet. And I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know how I ended up getting rid of him. I'm not sure I even did, because then down on the bottom left-hand side of the carpet, which was a really dark, gloomy area of the van with no light bulb, next to the back door, which in the dream was like a creaky wooden door which went first to a loo before it then went out, was the biggest spider I've ever seen. It was the size of a I suppose it was the size of a side plate, but not only that, its legs were like, they were long and thick, really solid, long and thick, and they tapered to this point. So he was almost like a spidery, I don't know, I wouldn't know how to describe it really. I suppose it might have been half pond sea life, pond sea life, because honestly, the pond that I was parked on was some bizarre piece of water that doesn't really exist. um, yeah, it was. It didn't really have a middle. It just had these 8 really thick, long, twig-like legs that tapered off to a point, but really, really smooth and um, just very well designed. I don't know how to how to describe it. Anyway, size of a sandwich plate and moving, and I was like, oh fuck. So I leapt out of bed and I ran to the front door, jumped out, because Bex was actually, I'm thinking I'm going to send this to Bex as well. Bex was camped on the other side of the pond in a tent, and I went, Bex, Bex. I think she knew from that exactly what I was saying. And she crawled out the front saying, what? And we were younger. Well, this Bex was younger. This was like 23-year-old Bex. And oh goodness me. And I went, there's a spider, it's a massive spider, the biggest spider I've ever seen. She said, okay, I'm coming. And she raced around a pond, and her dog, it wasn't Willow, but I called it Willow, managed to get to me first, had come running around the pond, and there was a loo, like an outdoor loo, like an old, outdoor loo, like a building, brick building with an old wooden door, opposite the front of my van that I had just, back front of my van that I'd just jumped out of. And Willow, the dog that isn't Willow, looks more like a Labrador, came running around the front to see me, really excited because I'd been screaming, and pooed a massive poo, but quite green, but thick green dog poo in front of the loo. And I was like, oh God, Willow, what did you have to do that for? So when Bex turned up, when Bex came around the corner, I went, oh, Willow's just pooed in front of the door, but don't worry about that now. and Bex got this small piece of tissue out of her pocket, and I was like, oh, Bex said that's not big enough. It's a huge spider, honestly. I've never seen anything like it. And I thought, I don't know how to convey to you that it's not just a big spider like everyone's seen a big spider. This is a big spider. And Bex was like, oh no, I'm scared. And I went, I know, I thought you would be. I don't even know if like one person's big enough to get this spider out, because it's bigger than your hand, much bigger than your hand. It's longer than its legs are longer than your fingers. And how are you gonna? And so Bex was scared. And she went in, and I stayed outside. And she's like, I can't see it. And I said where it was. She said, oh, it's really. And I heard her opening my front door, the creaky front door that leads out to the bathroom. I thought, oh no, because that's kind of, if you open that door where the spider was when I last saw it, it would kind of just like open onto the spider. And I thought, she turned the light on out there, and I thought, oh no, you've either moved it with the door, or I don't know. You might have trodden on it. Oh my god, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. Anyway, I woke up. And I lay there thinking, oh, fucking hell, I should have stayed asleep to see whether the spider's gone, because otherwise the spider's still there, crawling around in my unconscious. There we go. That was 10 minutes of a dream. What pointless information was that? But I just had to share that with you. Okay. It was mainly the rhinoceros, the little chunky, amazingly rhinocerosy, small mammal. I was just thinking, I've never seen hamsters breastfeed, but I suppose they must do. Obviously, they don't lay eggs. Anyway, gosh. This melatonin drug that I'm on to help me sleep is great fun. All right. Lots of love. Bye.